I'm Hans Glimt. The way we will win this election for Ron Paul is through the delegates process. The delegates going to the Republican convention in Minneapolis in September 1, 2, 3, and 4. We will have to talk to all of them, and a lot of them will be persuaded to go back to the principles of the Republican Party if they're just asked the right questions and have a little time to think about it. So we will work on getting our own delegates, and we will work on all the delegates to really think hard about what the Republican Party has become, what kind of direction it's on, and have the delegates look at the founding principles of the party, what the party used to be like and what it's still like if you read the documents. And people will be persuaded to think about twice or thrice about voting for McCain like they're supposed to. They will see that the whole structure has been corrupted by the neoconservatives. It truly is possible to persuade enough delegates to change their minds. We have to think long and hard and work hardly and diligently on this for the whole year towards September now. The whole summer really has to be dedicated to this. Now, let's start to think about it. We have a march on Washington, D.C. coming up on June 21st. This is really important. We have to make that march great. This is not a Ron Paul march. What we have to make this march is a march against the war and against the neoconservatives and against the power establishment that has taken over. We have to make this a protest march against all of that, but something that a lot of people can join in on. Change is a good slogan, but we really have to make this sort of the antidote to the change that the Democrats are working on. So it's a broader thing. It's much broader than Ron Paul. And Ron Paul says this himself in his address to his supporters. And we have to make this broader. I believe it has to be done by many different forces pulling in that direction. But think about that. It has to be more than Ron Paul. And what's important, we have to get the delegates to come to Washington. All the delegates that are going to the convention in September has to come to Washington on June 21st. And we will have to talk to them, and we will have to convince them that the war is wrong. Something like the 60s, when the grand rallies, when people went to Washington and they realized that this is all wrong. We have to turn people around. And people will then see that as McCain wants to be in Iraq for 100 years, they will see it's wrong, and then we'll have the rest of the summer to think about that, and they will change their minds. Now, also, when the convention comes in September, it's extremely important that we go there. Ron Paul supporters, we have to flood Minneapolis. And September 1st, when the convention starts, is a Monday. So I want all the Ron Paul supporters to start flooding in during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and make a big splash out of things, to be in the media and to get coverage from CNN and Fox and all that. The convention will be at something called the Xcel Energy Center, right in the middle of Minneapolis. And there will be huge parking facilities there. And I want all the Ron Paul supporters to get there. And everyone who has an RV, go with your RV and set up temporary tents and shelters and things outside the RV, so you can have Ron Paul supporters with just a blanket, sleeping over, and just doing a huge tailgate party during the whole convention for Ron Paul. And we will make a big splash and win this thing through the delegates process. I'm Hans Glimt.